about we're talking today about the Siser cutting machines as well as the Leonardo Design Studio. So we're going to go from unboxing all the way to making your first cut. When you get your package, this is what your box will look like. And when you open it up, there's a few things in the package. So I thought it might be kind of easy to go over it. I've already opened my box and made a few cuts. So I've got everything out for us to go through. You'll have some cords. You'll have a USB cord, and this allows you to connect your cutter with your device, whether that's a laptop or a desktop device. And you can also use Wi-Fi. So keep in mind that you don't have to stay wired to your machine for everything to work. Then you'll have two parts of your outlet cord. One part goes into your machine and the other part connects into that and then goes into the wall. So those are your cords, and that's what each one is for. I do tend to hardwire connect any of my digital cutters or really any device I'm using that uses software if I'm in my workspace. But I do like the Wi-Fi feature if I'm working in a different room or something, I'm not right next to my machine. I do like to have that wireless feature. Now, also in your box, you'll have a pamphlet of information, your setup information, and this is an excellent source to just walk through all the steps to get set up. So if you haven't gotten your machine yet, or you're waiting for it, you'll always have this as a resource for your setup. You'll also have quick step guides for the Leonardo software to download. You'll have 3 pieces of material in, I've already cut mine, but you'll have 3 pieces of material. You'll have Easy Weed Black, Easy Weed White, and the heat carrier sheet, the heat press guard sheet. I'm probably saying that wrong, but you'll have that in your packaging as well as a cutting mat. Now, the beautiful thing about the Leonardo, sorry, not the Leonardo, the Juliet, you don't have to have a cutting mat to cut with it. You can put any material right in there and cut without your cutting mat. So that is, optional to use. You'll also have your blade holder, and it's this little heavy red metal blade holder, and you will turn the gold piece to open it up and tighten it, and then there's a little nib on the top there, and that's how you load and unload your blade. Now, within the packaging, you'll have a container that has 2 45-degree angled blades. Those are the ones with the red tips, and that's, so far, those are the ones I've been using for most of my materials. Well, for all my materials. And then you'll have the 60-degree blade, which allows you to go for a deeper cut. So those come in the packaging, and you'll notice they have little red or blue tips. So it's easy to identify which blade is which. And then you'll have an adapter tool that you can use with the Siser die sub markers. So that's your adapter tool. And that's everything that comes in the package. So why don't we go ahead and take our machine out of the box. Now, I've already done that magic. I'll set my box aside here. And what I want to show you, I've got it on this little dolly so I can pull it back and forth. But what I want to show you, it'll have like your plastic wrap on it. So you want to go ahead and remove the plastic wrap and any other additional packaging. I think there was some little pieces of tape that you want to also remove. But when you open your machine up, you'll notice on the inside that there is a piece of foam. So you really want to make sure that you remove that foam before you make your first cut, and that just will slide off. Save that in your box. And then on the roller blades, you'll notice some white plastic there. So each of the roller blades, there's 3 in the front, have this little piece of plastic on it. You have to remove those little pieces before you make your first cut. So on the back, you'll notice there is a lever. So you want to push the lever down. And what that does is there's a spring, and that pulls up the little wheels so that you can now get in there and just remove those little white pieces. So you want to make sure you've taken all that out, any foam pieces and if there was any tape that held the doors closed or anything like that, you want to make sure that you remove those. And then you can come back to the back here, put your lever, hear that big spring, put your lever up, and then your wheels are ready to go. So that's how your machine will look. Now, when you're ready, you will put in one of the red tip blades. That's the 45-degree blade. You'll go ahead and put that into your blade holder. Now, how do you know what depth to put your blade? This is one of the things I love about this machine is that it really allows you to customize and get a feel for how it cuts and make your own personal tweaks and adjustments. So the recommendation depth of your blade to be hanging out is about a credit card thickness. So you can put a credit card down and line it up and see if your blade tip is sticking out a credit card width. If you find that that's not cutting well for you, you can always come back and adjusting the gold, and I think it's just the gold. I don't even think it's the silver, but the gold little ring there will allow you to adjust the depth of your blade. So if you're finding it's not cutting deep enough, you can adjust that depth. If it's cutting too deep, you might want to just bring it up. Once you have your blade in there, you will come over to, I'm going to slide this down towards me. You'll come over here and this little holder on the side, go ahead and unscrew that silver knob there and you'll drop your blade into that side. Can I do it from this angle? Let's put it right there. Okay, so we'll just pop that right in there. So that's all you have to do to have your machine ready to cut and insert your blade. Then you want to just set these aside somewhere safe that you'll remember where you have them. So when you're ready to make, if you need to change your blade or anything like that, you can change it out with that. Now on the back, you'll notice there's 3 ports here. You have a USB port, you have your power port, and you have your USB connector port. So let's start with this wire first. Now you may choose to connect with the Wi-Fi and not with your USB cord, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do my USB cord. So I'm just going to put that in that middle port there. Okay, and then I can connect this on this end to my laptop. So I've got my laptop over here, bring that in, and I'm just going to add that to my USB port on my laptop. Now, the other thing that I love about that you can connect it with Wi-Fi is not every computer or laptop has that USB port in it anymore. So you can connect with the Wi-Fi if you don't have the USB port, or if your USB ports are taken up by other devices. Okay, so then we take our 2 power cords and we go ahead and unwrap those, take those out of the packaging, and we'll connect those to the machine. So this one with the bank here goes into the back of your machine. So we'll pop that right in there and then go ahead and open up your other cord. This side obviously will go into the wall and this side will go into your power bank there. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And now I'm all plugged in. Let's see if we can rotate or use my little skateboard here and rotate around again and turn it on. Now I always forget, it's just that one power button. I think I'm going to unconnect my USB for a minute while I'm just getting it turned on because my cords aren't long enough. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to use the on and off button right here. And we're turning it on. Now your LED light will show up, your LED screen here will show up, as well as that fancy LED light on the inside. It's like a disco party in here. I love the light. So that's it. You're hooked up and you're ready to go with your Juliet machine. Now, the next part is to get your software going. So on that, you'll do that on your desktop or a laptop. And we want to pull up, where's my little piece here? The next step is to download the software, and you just go to setup.caesar.com and you select your machine. So let me go ahead and I'll show you this. I'll share my screen here. Before I step forward on that, does anybody have any questions? If you do, drop them in the Q&A about what you need to set up or if anything wasn't clear. We will come back and go over the LED screen, but I figured if anybody needs to download the software, if this is your first time, you might want to go ahead and start that process. So I'm going to share my screen here to show you when you go to the website setup.caesar.com, it brings you into the software, your machine setup. So all you need to do, and I have done it on this machine, and this, the machine and this laptop. So you just select which machine you're setting up, and you need to have your serial number. Your serial number is on the bottom, I think, pretty sure it's on the bottom of your machine here. So you just tilt it forward and you'll find your serial number on the bottom. Now, my little trick is I take a picture of it so I can see it. If you have, if you need reading glasses, just take a picture of that serial number, and then you'll go ahead and enter in all of your information to decide how you're going to set it up, like with a nickname and everything like that. And then it'll ask you to download the software. Now, when you download the software, you go to your downloads folder on your desktop or laptop and you install the software. So that's the next fun part. So I'm going to share my screen again. I do have just a walkthrough once you've installed the software. So if you need to install the software, go ahead and start that. So in the background, your software can be downloaded and start installing the software. So I'll share my screen here again. And what I want to do, let's start. See if I can do this one, if I can go into presentation mode. Here we go. Okay. So this is, you'll have the setup.caesar.com and go ahead and download your software. Once you've downloaded the software and installed it on your device, there will be an icon on your desktop that looks like this circle with the S on it right here. So you can click on that icon and that will open up the software, the Leonardo. Now, from here, you'll have your home page. And just a quick overview, give you a little navigation help here. On the home page, on the left-hand side, you have different pages that are part of the software. So you have your home screen, you have your tutorials, your inspiration, the design library, the material library, which is a great tool to have right there. So you know your cut settings for your material, or if you need to, your heat settings, that's all right there. Your cutter gives you all the information of which cutter you're using and your My Page, as well as when you're ready to design the design page. You also have the header bar up here, which takes you back and forth between the file, the pages, and information at the top. But your home screen is always going to be where you can use that left panel to navigate. And those tutorials are super helpful as you're getting started and as you're getting set up. And you can see on the left side, when you go into, let me just go back. When you go to design, that's going to take you to the artboard. On the artboard, you'll still have that left-hand side of all those pages. They just get a little smaller. And you can set your, go to your settings and set your dimensions, like if you want to do inches or centimeters, you can change those settings in the artboard and cutting mat. So the artboard and cutting mat here, you can change that from being a canvas type artboard, or actually a cutting mat, and you can change the size of your artboard. So if you're using a bigger mat, like a 12 by 24 type of cutting mat, you could change that right there in the artboard. Now, as you add elements or images to your canvas, to your artboard, you can work with the properties of that image. So you can change the color, you can change the line type, you can change the size, all right here in the properties panel. And as you add more and more images, you have the layer section, and that allows you to work with each individual image as an individual layer. At the bottom of your screen here are your tools. Now I have the Leonardo basic version of the software. There is a pro version, and that gives you more functionality and more tools. For as a beginner myself, I thought, I should get comfortable with the basics before jumping into the pro, but the pro really does have a lot of neat features. And I believe you get a 30-day or 60-day trial. Patrick, you tell me which one that is. But you have a 30-day at least trial of the Leonardo Pro version, and that allows that if you use that version, this toolbar expands and you have more tools to work with. But the tools are basically allow you to manipulate and change your images on your canvas. One of the things I really love about the Leonardo software is how detailed and like you can really get in using the point tool and adjust and modify and change the image on your artboard, like you can with higher level software like Adobe Illustrator. So that's really a cool feature there. But if you're not at that point yet, you can still use just the basic tools of it and get some really neat results. Now, once you're ready to cut your design, what you'll do is you'll use this last section over on the right side where it says send design. And what you're doing is basically sending it to your device to cut, and you're telling it how you want it to cut. So are you sending all the artwork or just the selected artwork? Do you want it to hold everything together, or do you want it different colors to show on different mats? So you can kind of make those adjustments there. And then you go into the cut screen. So from here, I pulled in one of the images from the design library, a little St. Patrick's Day image here. And you can see each different color of the design is on its own layer. So it would cut each layer separately on separate material and separate mats. And you can change that as you go along and move your design to advance your design as you go and cut the different layers there. And then here on the right side, it gives you all of your presets. So you can do this on the computer, but you can also do it in the panel, on the LED panel on your device. One feature I really want to point out here is this mirror feature. So if you're cutting using iron-on material, you need to mirror your image because you're actually cutting on the back of your material. So this tool is right here in your, I don't know, what do you call this screen? I call this my prepare screen, like it's getting ready to go to my cutter. So I just check that out. Once you're ready to cut, you've loaded your material into your machine. All you have to do is click send to cutter, and it will send directly to your cutter. Now, one thing, I'm going to just step back here, just one more step, because I want to show you two really cool features that stood out to me in the software. Is one, you can have multiple artboards that you're working on across the top open at one time. Also, there is an extensive design library, and they're adding new images all the time. But you can also import images that you've designed yourself or you've purchased somewhere else, and that you do under the file import, and you can bring in your own images. So the last little feature I want to show here is the partnership with Creative Fabrica. They have, I don't even know how many images are in their website, But when you purchase your Juliet, you get a free year of Creative Fabrica. So you have a 1-year all access subscription. And that's where, so if you're looking for something and you don't see it in the design library on Leonardo, you can jump over to Creative Fabrica and download the images and then import those images into the Leonardo software. So those are all kind of really cool features that help this product, your Juliet, stand out. I love the software and how much you can really manipulate the designs in the software. I haven't done like too deep a dive into that. I've done a lot of just importing designs and making my own cuts. So I'm really excited to get more and more comfortable with the software to be able to take those deeper dives. So I'm kind of a beginner with the Leonardo and my Juliet, like you might be too. Okay, so should we make some cuts? Patrick, were there any questions or anything you should clarify that I went over there?
No, I think you did a really good job. Nothing that stood out to me. Yeah.
All right, is it a 30-day or is it
So we had, and I put that in the chat as well. Sorry about that. We had a 30-day promotion going for a while. Typically it's like a 7-day. However, we run those 30-day, opportunities all the time. So it's more of if you get one, awesome. If not, then you can always reach out to us and we're always willing to extend them as well. So for a
that's
little
awesome.
bit. Yeah,
Because
of
it
course.
really, the features that are in the Pro are really, they're great. I used it, but I thought, for this one, I wanted to make sure I was down on the basic
Yeah.
model, but like the warp feature, being able to manipulate your text and everything, that is really exciting. So
Sounds like another class is coming.
I think so. We do have all right. So I'm gonna go, oops, my battery is low. Let's see. I hope I don't lose my battery. Can we switch over to my front facing camera so I can kind of go over the machine a bit here?
Sorry, just give me a second.
Sure. This is kind of a new angle, so I'm learning a little bit with it. All right, so I thought we would go over a bit of the machine itself, so everyone can kind of understand like what it looks like and how it works. So the machine itself has these doors. And first of all, my daughter came home, like I mentioned, this weekend, and she came into my craft room and she's like, ooh, what is that beauty? She loved the sleek design of it. And I do too. I think it looks like a little roll of vinyl. So I love the sleek design of it. The lights are also really kind of gives it, like I said, that disco feel. Now on the top here is your LED screen. And this is where it has all of your settings and your cut settings and how to do a test cut. So when you are ready to cut something, you'll do, you'll do your cut settings and you'll choose your material. When you are ready, look at all of the materials, all of the Siser materials are already preloaded into here. So if you're using Easy Weed or you're using glitter heat transfer vinyl, those are all already in here. And then if you're using the PSVs, you have all the different choices in here and you can even add your own. So the ones that say open, you can add your own settings for additional material that you use. You can just click on that material, rename it, and change the settings on that material. So our first design, I'm going to use the PSV, I always forget. I think it's like pressure something vinyl. The PSV is your vinyl that you would put on, like, I'm going to show you how we do a just regular vinyl on a glass. So you don't need any heat to put this on. It's just pressure. Okay, so what we're going to do, that's the Starling, and it says a cut speed of 10 and a force of 7. So those are the default settings. If you need to confirm your settings, you can always go into the Siser website. And I'm going to share my screen again here. and we'll go into the settings. So you can go to the website, select the materials from the drop-down menu, and you'll see all the different colors that are available, as well as your settings. So the force needs to be a 15 and the speed at a 10. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that force to from 7 to, what did it say, 15? 7 to 15. Okay, so we'll just go in here, and to change your settings, all you have to do is just push the up button, and that will increase the settings. So I'm at a force of 15 and a speed of 10. Now I can put in my material and test it. I'm going to save that color. I have another color here in red. So to load your material, you have a guide on the side, and you're going to put your material along the guide and up against the wheels. What I like to do is just do a little, my first one is just a little one, just to make sure, okay, it caught my material and it's loading it in. And then you're going to load it in more. The cool thing about the Juliet is it actually cuts starting in this bottom left corner here. And your cutting head, the head that holds your blade, see how it goes all the way over? You can, I don't remember, I think it's this button here that puts the housing right back into the corner. Where the blade comes down is literally where it's going to cut. So you can really get to the very edge of your paper. So we're going to load that in, push it, like hold it up against your wheels, keep your eye on the guide there and let it feed in. And you're going to bring it all the way to that starting corner there. And I usually get down my face down to the machine, which if I don't make you guys nauseous, I'll do that. Let me see if I can do that and move this camera, because I think that is really such a cool, you gotta just take it off like this. Sorry if I happen to get basic, but can you see where the blade is here? The blade tip goes all the way to the corner of your material. So you can really get right in the corner and get started. Where your head is and the blade, that's where it's going to start cutting. So I can come back over here and hit my little t-shirt and do a test cut. So I'm just going to cut that, and it will do a little test cut for me. When I'm satisfied with the test cut, let me grab my weeding tool here. I'm going to advance my paper. I can just push that to advance it. And then you can just go in with your weeding tool here and make sure that cut is a nice clean cut. And it's just a little bit of a cut there. It does a little t-shirt for you. So, and the great thing is it's very tiny and detailed, so you can really make sure if you're doing fancy cuts, it's going to get right in there for you. So part of the reason why I show that to you is when you're on your device, you guys get to see all my mess. When you're on the software and you're ready to do your first cut, you will, you want to make sure that your material is loaded into the machine, so that, because once you say, yes, send it over to my machine, it's going to send it over to your machine and start cutting. Now I could use a piece as small as this and advance this in and cut using a piece that is that small. You can also, let me pop that out. You can also use your, the cutting mat to make the cut. So I'm going to pull up my cutting mat here. If you're working with a smaller piece, maybe that makes you feel more comfortable to have it on there. If you're working with cardstock, you might want to use your cutting mat. So I'm going to start it off down here in this corner. And I believe, I haven't done this yet. I always feed it from the front. But if you lift the wheels in the back, you can come in from the back of the machine as well. But I don't know why. I guess I'm just a creature of habit. I do it from the front. So I just load that in and I'm just gonna go ahead and let that go in. Okay, and then I'm gonna move my blade so that my blade will start right at the top, tippy top of that paper there, the vinyl, right there. So my blade's gonna be right there. Okay, so now let me share my screen again so I can go into the Leonardo software and show you. Oops, let me see. Share that one. Okay. Sorry guys, I have it. Find my Zoom. We'll share the screen. Okay. So here we go. There we go. So I have the whale already on my canvas here, as well as the words whale hello there. Now my material is a little bit, like I think it was a little bit less than 3 inches tall. Just make sure I have it the right height. So it's a little bit more than 3 inches. So it's a little bit bigger than 3.5. The height of this whale here is 3.144. So I'll be able to cut that. But if I'm a little bit nervous or I don't think that that's going to be the right height for me, I can come over to the properties section here and change the height of that design. So let's say I wanted to go more at 3 inches tall. I can change that to 3 inches. And I can choose where on my canvas the cut will start. So if my vinyl has something cut out of this bottom left corner, and I'm going to start in the middle of the vinyl, I can just move that whale to cut wherever I want and position my blade where that starting point is. So we're going to put both of these down here and have them start on the bottom. Once I've got those sized and positioned how I want them, I'm just going to click send the design and I'll send that right over to my screen here. And then once I'm ready, I'll send to Cutter. Now I've got my design loaded, my mat is loaded and I'm ready to go. And you'll notice that the image is flipped around. It's got the mirror checked off. Because I'm using vinyl, I don't need to iron this on. It's not an ironing type of material. It's just a regular vinyl material. I want to make sure that that mirror is turned off. I want to make sure I've got my mat is loaded, my material is loaded, and my blade is in the right spot. So let me stop share. You'll see I just looked over and my blade is all the way back there. I want to start my blade at this top corner. So I want to bring my mat back in. And you can really get so to the very, point where you need to start. So I'm going to start right in that corner and it will do the whale and then it will do whale hello there. So once I'm ready, all I just have to do is go back to my software and say send to Cutter and it'll send it on over to the Cutter and ask me, are you sure you're ready? And I say, yes, I'm sure I'm ready. I've got my material settings adjusted and it's ready to go. That's so cool. And it's nice and quiet too. So you're not hearing it roll around. You've got your material is all set to cut where exactly you want it to cut. If I wanted to make multiples of these, if I had a bigger piece of material in, I could multiply the images on the artboard and I could fill this whole sheet with the different designs that I'm working with. Great. So while this is cutting, I will show you. Apply it to a glass because I want to show you how easy it is to weed this material. And then we'll apply it to using the transfer material. We'll transfer it to the glass. So if anybody has any questions, feel free. You can raise your hand and we can call on you, or Patrick can give us more information. If you have questions specific. For Patrick, I'm just going to push my machine back. I should have had it kept on my skateboard, huh? Let's just slide that back. Okay. So what I like to do when I remove my material from my machine is actually, I will, let's see if I can get this better. There we go. I turn my mat upside down. So I'll actually turn the mat upside down. I take my material right off the mat so that it doesn't curl or anything. And then we'll go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. So I just need a little piece of this. I'll save this piece for later. And I'm so amazed at how small your material can be to cut with. Okay, so then all I'm just gonna do is take a little corner of it and I'll start weeding the outside of my image. I can use my weeding tool and I can use my fingers. So either whichever way you're most comfortable with. Sometimes I just like to use my fingers and weed the exterior out of a design. So I'm just, see how easy it like comes off so nice and smooth. Should I say that now? I'll get like caught up on something. There we go. All right, so we're just gonna pull this off. And as I get to these smaller pieces, I can take a little weeding tool and just hold those down and pull the vinyl right off of that. So the different materials that, Patrick, do you want to talk a little bit about all the different materials that you can cut with your Juliet machine?
Yeah, absolutely. So the cool part about the Juliet is you have a lot of options and a lot of opportunities for cutting a lot of different things. So from like a material that you have, a PSV, or what we call pressure sensitive vinyl. I know that you were trying to remember the middle part about it, but a pressure sensitive vinyl, which is typically your sticker vinyl. We can cut regular heat transfer vinyl of any shape or size. As far as the finish on a material, but you also can extend to things like leatherette. I've cut definitely, I can't remember what it's called. It's very thin. Is it vellum
Oh,
paper?
vellum.
Vellum, there we go. Vellum is really, really great, especially with small, intricate, delicate materials, is where Juliet definitely is a great, great option for creating and designing. But cardstock of pretty much any thickness that we've run into so far, I've been able to cut, which is awesome. Normal sticker paper or sticker vinyls with a laminate. So one of the real cool features of the cutters is that LED light allows you to really manipulate how much of that is illuminating on your design. So it really helps when you're using, say, like a holographic laminate, and maybe you're a sticker maker. That is definitely a huge benefit in having that light on the machine. But as with other materials like leather, some plastics, some really thinner plastics, work really, really well as well. So I don't even think, to be completely honest with you, that we've gotten through every material yet that we can cut. So it's been very cool to see.
I love that. And one of the fabric, you can like, I love that you can cut fabric.
Yes, yes, you can. So with felt fabrics, and I always say to people, when it comes to fabrics, it's the type of fabrics that are, I don't want to say easier to cut, but something like a felt material versus like a nylon material. Sometimes nylon is woven, so it's a little bit more difficult to get through. But yeah, felt has worked well. Cotton actually works really, really well on the Juliet. So if you are somebody that cuts fabric, cotton is definitely an option. As well as costume. Any type of like costume EVO foam is
Mhm.
really, really great. The Juliet's super popular amongst costume makers. So
I love that. And
yeah.
also the vinyl, the iron-on materials,
Mhm.
the Siser iron-on materials, you can use those in other machines too. Like I have the diode laser cutter, the Glow Forge, and
Yeah.
I cut those the vinyls out of that machine. With
Yes. Yeah, so majority, actually all products here at Siser that Siser manufactures globally are all CPSIA compliant, which means that they're child safe as well, which is a big benefit. But on top of that is what, just like you had mentioned with different types of vinyls, all of our vinyls outside of, I believe, only two in our lineup that are they're all laser friendly. So if you're just utilizing an easy weed and maybe you don't have a vinyl cutter just yet, but you have a laser, like a Glowforge or even the new Aura that came out, which is the, you know, a smaller version of the
Mhm.
bigger machine that Glowforge has, it's a great option for you now to get in. You can still cut vinyl the same way that you want. And I actually think in a lot of cases that cutting with the laser helps me because I can do that and I can set it to an engraving and it will actually like get rid of and burn off all of the cavities for me. So then I really don't even have to weed through the process. Obviously, weeding for some of us are very therapeutic. That's my therapy in my craft room, but but yeah,
I'm making it look really hard today with my
no,
weed.
no, 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 that's okay. You're doing great.
It's so funny. Sometimes, like you weed something and it just all like comes off so easily.
Mhm.
But of course, when you're in front of a camera, it's a little bit
Well,
has to get
my
so.
favorite is also like you're doing right now. Anytime I weed PSV, I always try to weed it all in one go, like
Mm.
like a easy weed, and then I end up sticking half of it to the design, and I got to go back and clean up anyway. So I think we're all with you on that one.
So true. It's so true. But I do like how easily it cuts and being able to
Yeah.
do a test cut and make sure like, hey, am I doing it right? Is it the right amount? I
Mhm.
love that feature because it really does allow you to try different types of materials.
And actually, a cool tip as well for anybody if you do have more than one squeegee, the squeegee actually has an impression in the center of it for exactly the use case that you're using it for, to be able to hold a cup, to be able to hold a mug or something like that to help you with the alignment too. So we try to really think of everything when it comes to our products of how can we benefit people in their craft space all the time, you know?
I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and also, so I have the transfer tape here, the Caesar transfer tape,
love it.
and I'm just gonna put it on my shape here. The cool thing is you can use this multiple times and it's got the grids on it. So I can just take my design and I put the transfer tape right down over my design, use my squeegee and make sure it goes down on there. And you're gonna laugh because I always, it comes off so nicely. Look at that. It peels off so easily. I don't have to do too much work for it. Now with my I did clean my mug, my little cup here. So I've cleaned it off with alcohol and a lint-free towel. And then I can just slide this into the middle here. I'll take my design and I can line it up using the grid lines on the vinyl transfer tape there and just push that over onto the mug. And then you can just press that down, make sure everything's holding down in place, and then take a corner and peel it up. Now, I usually do let my cups, if I'm using any type of vinyl like this, it's a permanent vinyl, I want to leave it on the design and give it time to set so that it will not come off if I wash it. So if you're using a cup or something that is dishwasher safe, then you want to be able to put the whole thing in the dishwasher. And you can do that. But I just you want to let it set for about 24 hours to 72 hours before washing it. So I always joke around, I'm like, I can't do it last minute. I need advance notice.
Well, and something to note too, that you just mentioned about dishwasher safe is that the particular pressure sensitive vinyl you're using right now is a newer version of our product that we actually relaunched that version last year with our friends over at Avery Dennison, and this is actually a dishwasher safe pressure sensitive vinyl that comes in over 52 different colors. And there's a bunch, most of them are matte colors, and then all your primary colors also have a gloss version of it as well. So a lot of versatility. That looked awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I bet you want to come on our family vacation now.
Yep, there we go. I'm in.
Everyone's invited. All right, so that's how easy it is to do the pressure sensor vinyl. And I think we have time to do one more cut. And this one, I wanted to show you how easy it would be to make a little wine bag, a wine tote bag for St. Patrick's Day. So this design I pulled in from Creative Fabrica. And you know, it's so funny. I don't know about you guys, but I just can get into scrolling and finding so many cute ideas of things to make. So I had to finally go, okay, just pick one, Kesley. So I've got this little wine tote bag, and you can use iron-on material, any type of iron-on material on this bag. So if you can do sublimation, you can do the sublimation vinyl that Siser has on here. It's really cool. So let me go ahead and share my screen again, because I have this one already queued up, ready to go. Let me see. All right, let's go to here. Sorry, my screen, share screen, and we want to go to right here. Okay, there we are. So with this screen here, I've got the I've got my design, and this one, oh no, where'd my other design go? Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I'm not on my design screen. So if I go back to design, I have my other design is right here. I've got it sized, ready to go. See how I have my little tabs up top? Oh, can you guys not see?
No, we can't see your screen. Yeah,
Try this again.
no.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's try it again. Okay. There we go. So up here on the top, you can have multiple projects open. You don't have to have multiple iterations of the software open. You can just have little tabs on the top ready to go. And I've got my happy-go-lucky here. So I'm going to send this design. I've sized it. I'm ready to go. And I'm going to keep everything all together. So I changed it. It was 2 colors. I just changed it into 1 color. And I need to mirror this material so that it will, because it's an iron-on material, I need to mirror it. And then I'll come back and hit send to cutter once I have my material set and organized in my machine. What you're going to do, because we're doing an iron-on material, I already have one cut here. What we need to do is take our material, and you want to, it looks like both sides are shiny, but one side is definitely duller than the other side. You'll cut with the dull side up. When you, I think I threw it away. This super shiny side here has like a clear carrier sheet that holds your heat transfer vinyl onto the machine, and I mean onto your sheet of material. And when you weed away the parts of the design that you don't want to keep, this clear side is what holds it all together. So for this, I need to choose my material. So I need to just go back and choose my material. So I'm going to choose my cut settings, and we need to choose an heat transfer vinyl, and I'm using the easy weed. I'm going to just load that in, and I can just load in my material, shiny side down. Oops. Sorry. Let me start over again. I think I hit the play button by accident.
Yeah, the play button is a recut feature, just so the audience knows as well. Anytime you complete a cut, the machine will remember your last cut. So it wanted to cut the whale out of the green material. No big deal.
Yep, no big deal. I think, you know, that this is actually a good point to remind everybody that it is a learning curve. Whenever you're learning a new piece of software or a new machine, give yourself the grace of making a mistake or two, because it happens. You just make a mistake and you have to go, oops, okay, I learned. Make sure I don't hit the play button. All right, so I've already gone ahead and cut this out. So I'll show you how easy it is to weed while it's cutting out again. So I'm just going to pull this from one corner, and then you just start weeding it back. And what I loved about the easy weed material is, well, obviously it's easy to weed, but it doesn't, it's flexible, but it doesn't break super easily. Like you can break it. So when you get to a point, you're like, okay, I can pull that off. You can pull it off, but it doesn't break. So I just have to work my way around my design here.
Kesley, before you get too far into your weed or weeding that out, do you have your heat press on right now?
I do not.
Okay. So there's a little heat press trick that if you heat up the lower platen of your heat press and then put your cut design unweeded carrier side, so the plastic side down on the warm surface, it'll actually start loosening up some of that adhesive and it makes the weeding process so much even. It's crazy to say that it makes it even easier. We should probably call it even easier weed, but it's fine.
I know, I'm thinking to myself, like, how can you say it's even easier? Like this is
Right.
so easy. All right, so I am heating it up and we'll see, maybe I'll try it on the other one. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
Take it from the pros at Siser. They know what they're talking about. And I do usually, I like to sometimes weed out the center of my design first so that my hands don't stick to it, because this carrier sheet does have a bit of adhesive to it. So, and then you want that because you want it to stick to your blank. So I'm just going to pull that out. Okay, so all these little pieces here, you can weed those out ahead of time if you want to, so you don't have to worry about your hands sticking to it. But it's hard to see in this light for me where all my little pieces are. But look how easy that just pops right out. It gave such a good, consistent cut. I love it. I'm gonna have to try that trick on the next one.
Okay, then that means that you have to name the new easy weed. If it's easier, easiest, you get to decide.
So simple weed.
There you go.
Okay, so let's see, what am I missing? The top of my P there still needs to come out. All right, and that little piece comes off. So let's double check I got everything. Happy go lucky. Looks good. And then I'll just take my wine tote and you want to preheat it for 5 to 10 seconds. And if can we go back to the front facing camera?
Sure.
Okay. That way I think we'll be able to see the.
Done.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to heat my bag up in the press back here. I've got my press set at 205 degrees. So I'm just going to heat that up for like 5 to 10 seconds. And what that does is it takes out the moisture and the wrinkle. Let me get that wrinkle out. But it'll take out the moisture. Any moisture in your material can get between your vinyl and your material and keep it from getting a good strong hold. So you do want to make sure you do that preheat. And then we'll just put our design on the tote, leaving room for, like, when you do it, you got to remember that it's going to have a bottom to it. So it's going to flare out at the bottom there. So I want to place it high enough up so that it takes care of that bottom. And then I just place that right on my bag. And that sticky on the clear sheet there makes that so that it doesn't, so it holds its place. See how it's holding its place there? And then I just put that down in my press. And I'm going to make sure my press is at the full settings, because I want it does such a beautiful job. And it's going to 305. I said 205, it's 305. And I always use like a Teflon sheet or something between my press and the material so that I don't damage my press if for some reason you put it on upside down, which has happened. So you don't want to have your design stuck to the top of your press. So I use that Teflon sheet in between there to sort of protect that for me. While that is heating up, I do have some of the additional materials that Siser has at Michael's, like all this pattern vinyl is really cool. You have sparkle vinyl. Wouldn't that be great for like a little mermaid project or something? That gives me summer vibes. You have the electric heat transfer vinyl, the glitter vinyls like these. You have the glitters, and I love the glitter and shimmer. They are different. No, sparkle. I think it's sparkle and glitter. So the sparkle is like a lighter, a smaller speck of glitter, where your glitter is definitely bigger, thicker glitter. And then one other material that I wanted to point out, I'll point out two other materials. This is this flocking material, which is so fun to use. You can't really capture it on the Zoom today, but it's got like a roughish texture to it, but it's more like bunny texture. So it's got like a little texture, but it's not rough. It just gives it like a little flock. It's so fun to use. I use that all the time. I use it so much, especially like for lacrosse projects. We're a big lacrosse family. So like the grass, I flock the grass and stuff. And then the puff vinyl, which if you haven't had a chance to work with that, we are doing a class on a puff t-shirt March 7th. So you'll want to have your Juliet and your puff vinyl to do that. This is giving me the heads up. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down for 10 seconds. Go ahead. I'm going to try your trick here. Once that's done, it'll pop right back up.
Yep. So what you're going to do is just laying down the carrier side down just on the warm lower platen.
Right. And it will, will I see it start peeling off?
Well, so hold on, before you put it on there though, I would just make sure that just make sure that when you do put it on there that you're also feeling for the heat. Obviously, you don't want too much crazy heat coming through, but as long as you can feel it on your hand through the material, then you're going to be fine. So just lay it down for a second, you'll start to feel it.
Do I wait until it gets a little warmer?
Yep, and then you're good. Now you can start peeling right there on the press.
Right. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Nope.
Wrong side.
No, it didn't. It just the whole thing peeled up.
Uh-oh. Okay.
That's okay. I think probably I was a little aggressive. There we go. I think I got a little excited.
There, that's all right. Sometimes around the sharper edges, it'll catch before it would on like a rounder edge.
All right. I have my back to everybody. It did come off easier. It just didn't, I wasn't paying attention to where the cuts were.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That also does happen too.
Catch it. I'm gonna try that again. I'll
Okay.
report back. But so this one, we can just take off that carrier sheet. And you just peel it. You can peel it when it's warm or cool. I like to do it when it's warm personally, because if it didn't, if any of it didn't stick down, I could just pop it back in for another, 5 or 10 seconds and heat it back up again. And then you can just take your little line and you're ready to go to your party. And that just is going to drop right in there. And then you can take the design and make a t-shirt or a hat or anything like that out of it. So how cute. You use paper and make like little paper flowers with it, anything like that. All right, I think we are right at time, and thank you guys for joining us. Patrick, thank you so much for all your expertise, and I hope to see a lot of you in our March 7th workshop. So have a great afternoon, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.